Hey guys, well, welcome to class. I know this is a little bit different for you guys. I know it's pretty different for me, but at the same time, I mean it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm definitely not trying to make this difficult on you guys. Uh, I know that what I'm essentially trying to do is make this more like a college online course in a sense, where the classes will be online Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and just like I kind of pointed out in your email, conference conference times again in your email will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And right now, as of right now, any kind of assignments will be turned in on Fridays. So it kind of gives you the week to get things done. I know you guys got a lot of other things to do, so I'm going to proceed with that. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on your World War One and the Russian Revolution. So, alliances. Everyone at this time kind of knows that a big war is about to break out. We don't really know when, but they do know something's coming. And you kind of, if you guys watch the oversimplified World War One videos, he kind of says the same thing. But a lot of these alliances that start forming are forming out of distrust with each other. Germany and France don't really trust each other. And likewise, Austria-Hungary doesn't really trust the Serbians and the Albanians and all these. So there's a lot of distrust going on, and it was intended that it would probably promote peace. I mean, if you have France, Britain, and Russia as an alliance, what idiot is going to attack that military power? Well, if you have another alliance of Germany, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman Empire, Italy, that's also a massive alliance. So it basically just becomes this massive alliance war. And when we talk about these alliances, the three main ones that most people kind of include when they're talking about these two different alliances is Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy on one side, and on the Triple Entente, the Allies, is France, Britain, and Russia. Now, things are going to change once the war starts. Italy is going to jump ship. The United States is going to join the Allies. The Ottoman Empire is part of the Central Powers, along with Bulgaria, Romania, and Serbia are going to be part of the Allies. So there are other factions involved in this. It's just that the main three right now at the start of the war are the main six, if I will. Excuse me. So the other areas of distrust come from competition. So Germany is this new kid on the block. They've really kind of boomed into the world market as being one of the European leaders in military and economic power, and they felt disrespected by the other powers. They didn't feel like everybody was kind of treating them like the big dog on campus, and not to mention they also kind of made some of these guys nervous. So Britain felt really nervous because Germany was building up their navy, they were building up their military, and economically they had the resources. They could go basically do whatever they wanted to. So Germany, on the other hand, is actually more concerned about Russia. Germany felt that Russia has the manpower, the resources, and they're just now kind of starting to get into this industrialization mode. And if they are allowed to get there, then there's not going to be anybody that's going to stop them, because there's just millions of them and they've got tons of natural resources. So tensions are going to increase also between France and Germany. France and Germany get into a little bit of a conflict over Morocco. Germany ends up taking a few colonies in Africa, around the central portions of Africa. But there's also a little bit of distrust there with France and Germany, because the Alsace-Lorraine territory is actually being held by Germany. Excuse me, France actually lost it in a Franco-Prussian war that had happened years earlier. And the French kind of wanted it back. The problem was they didn't really have the military to do it. And we'll kind of talk about that in a little bit, but Germany basically has an army of 11 million men, and France has an army of about 8.5 million. So, yeah, not a lot you're going to do against that. You're kind of underpowered. So the other areas that make a lot of people nervous is this idea of nationalism. Now, I have a definition of it there posted for you. And in short, it's this pride of nationality. Um, and nowhere is this most uh, heavily seen than in the Balkans. So the Balkans is this area on the map that I'm showing you here. Bulgaria, Serbia, Albania, Macedonia, Greece, Montenegro. Those are all Balkan states. So if you hear somebody talking about the Balkans or a Balkan War or whatever, that's what they're talking about. And these areas, these guys really had strong ethnic um, nationalism, if you will. You had a lot of Slavs that were in the area. You had Slovaks. You had all kinds of different groups of people. And Austria-Hungary, of course, is the most nervous about this because they have such a high number of these minorities, if you would call them minorities, of these ethnic groups in their country. And I mean, it was just a matter of time before they started revolting. In 1912, the South Slavic states actually attacked Turkey, and they win a bunch of land from Turkey. Now, once they win that land, they end up fighting each other for who was going to get what parts of land. So by 1914, these areas are kind of known as the powder keg of Europe, and that powder keg was about to explode. So Archduke Francis Ferdinand, he's the heir to the emperor of Austria-Hungary, and he chooses one day, I'm going to go visit Sarajevo, in the capital of Bosnia, and try to show my presence there, maybe help calm people down. This angered some of the Serbians. The Serbian nationalists did not like this at all. They kind of felt like Austria-Hungary were oppressive people, and so this terrorist group known as the Black Hand kind of were like, you know what, this is our opportunity, let's take some action. Well, the Archduke had several warnings that came across his desk, said this is probably not the best time to go. And he didn't listen to him. Not only that, he decides to drive out in public in an open-top car, publish the car's route in advance so everybody would know where he's going to go. I mean, it just shows the sheer genius of him, right? Well, he ends up driving by one of the assassins named Gavrilo Princip, who takes his opportunity, pulls out the gun, fires 2 shots into the cab of the car, killing the Archduke and his wife. Austria, everybody at this time is kind of taken back, like, holy moly, what just happened? Germany tells Austria, look, man, we got your back no matter what. We're going to give you unrestricted help. So if you want to go to war, we're going to war. We'll do whatever we got to do with you. And Austria says, okay, well, look, Serbia, here's my list of demands. And so they send Serbia this big list of demands, and Serbia actually agrees to a good portion of them, but they don't agree to all of them. And I think one of them was that Austria-Hungary, they wanted, number one, Serbia to take these terrorists and try everyone that was involved. Okay, Serbia's got no problem with that. But Austria-Hungary wanted to come in and take over the investigation, and Serbia was like, no, I don't think so. So, because Austria was like, you're either going to accept all or none, and the fact that Serbia didn't accept all of them, on July 28, 1914, Austria says, boom, we're going to war. Well, this is when all the dominoes start to fall, so hang with me here. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia, who's allies with Russia. Germany declares war on Serbia as well because of its alliance with Austria-Hungary. And Russia declares war on Germany and Austria-Hungary due to its alliance with Serbia. France declares war on Germany due to their alliance with Russia. And they also didn't want to fight Germany alone. Again, as I said, Germany has about 11 million men and France has about 8.5, so not exactly good odds there. Britain declares war on Germany, but they really don't get involved because, they're cool with France and all, but it's like, look, man, I'm really not getting involved with this because it's really not directly threatening me. But really what sets Britain off, and what we'll talk about here in a second, is when Germany actually goes through neutral Belgium. Belgium wanted no part of the war. Well, Germany went through Belgium and even a little bit of the Netherlands and violated their neutrality. That hacked Britain off, and then Britain got involved. So Um, War at the time was seen as a romantic thing, and that's kind of what you see down there at the end. This war actually helps calm some of these internal issues that are happening in the rest of the world. So Russia is able to kind of temporarily put this relief on their revolution of 1905. Britain's able to kind of get some relief from labor unrest and the unrest in Ireland. If you know anything about British history, you know that Ireland and Britain have gone at it for a long time until Ireland finally won its independence. Patriotism rose, but so did the idea of militarism, which is this glorification of the military. So young men are rushing to enlist because they're cheered on by women, they're cheered on by their elders, because at the time, war was this gallant, romantic ordeal. I mean, a young man, you dreamed of hopping on that horse, charging into the fray with your saber, hanging out and ready to hack at folks. Those dashing cavalry charges, that was the thing. It was seen as something that was romantic, but no one really knew that the war that they were about to get into was far different than anything that they had known previous. And this is going to bring us to our first assignment, guys. So due Friday is a daily grade. I want you to read The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson. And it's actually published on December 9th, 1854. So it's a good 60 years or so before World War I actually happened. But it may or may not kind of give you this sense of this romanticism of war. So first off, I want you to answer these following questions. I want you to explain what the poem is about. What does the poem say about courage? Do you agree with what it says? From stanza 2, who do you think has made the mistake? How would you feel if you were the 600 men in the situation? Does it romanticize war? Why or how? And what did you take from the poem, likes or dislikes? Again, keep in mind, World War I was about to be far different than anything anybody had ever known. Now, what I'm going to say about this, as much as I'm going to say about your test grade, is please do not plagiarize. For this daily grade, guys, I really want to hear your thoughts. I want to see your ideas on paper. There's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. I just want to hear your thoughts. However, if you look like all of a sudden, somebody who's been writing and can't spell their own name, all of a sudden starts writing a Harvard scholarly paper, I know you've probably plagiarized that, and I'll check it. So just use your own ideas. The test grade is going to be due Friday, and it's 3 pages typed, double-spaced. And I want you to use your own ideas. Do not plagiarize. I want you to find a modern source that romanticizes war. This can be a movie, a poem, a story. And guys, I'm telling you, don't freak out. There are hundreds of different sources. And some of them are some of my favorite movies. And the things that I want you to answer is, what is it about? Who are the main characters? How does it romanticize war? And how does it romanticize war? What do you take from the source? And do you feel that war should be romanticized? Why or why not? Make sure that you include the name of the source so that you've chosen to analyze. I don't want to sit there and be like, well, what the heck is this kid even talking about? So with that, guys, we've got just a little over a minute left. And this is where I will probably stop. Yeah, we'll probably stop on this slide right here. This is just kind of detailing the numbers of how many men these different factions had and were able to mobilize during World War I. So France was able to mobilize 8.5 million, Britain 9 million, Russians mobilized about 12 million, and Germany mobilized about 11 million. So this is about to be a major conflict that's setting up. So, and we're going to get into that on Wednesday. So right now, I think I'm stopping at around 15 minutes. So that should be more than enough to kind of get you started and get you guys on your assignment. So If you got any questions, just let me know on Tuesday. Shoot me an email if you want to, and then on Wednesdays I'll be on Zoom. So yeah, well, with that, I hope you guys enjoy your week, and I'll be in touch.